guys, my name is Christian and
my name is Max. So this is our new channel, Midwest Weekends, and we're gonna do a lot of fishing videos. We might go out, show you some fishing areas where we like to fish, how we like to fish, what we like to fish with. But today we're gonna try doing a weekly fish talk. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about lures, things that we don't like about fishing, things that we should people should look at more when they fish, and just questions that you guys might have.
So the first topic we're going to talk about is treble hooks. Now, it's a pretty controversial issue, when to use them and the benefits of using them. In my opinion, they're overused and they do a lot of damage to gills and just to the fish itself, and I really think it's kind of an overused and it's not a very good hook to use. And so the first example we're going to show you is the Rapala. It's just a jointed Rapala. We're kind of referring to all Rapalas when we talk about this specific model. So Max is going to kind of talk about his points of view and what he likes to talk about with it.
So when I look at this Rapala, I think pike, maybe bass. It seems a little large for bass, in my opinion.
Big bass will take it. But
yeah, but it just in my opinion. But, for this kind of a lure, it's got a lot of hooks on it. Rapalas have a lot of hooks. It has, 6 hooks, but 2 3-pronged hooks, and they all, you debarb them. But, it comes with all barbs, And that's kind of, I think, excessive. And if a fish swallows this,
it's so hard to get out. You need to use your pliers, and even then, it just takes so long, and it can really harm the fish if it's out of water too long, and that's my opinion,
So this is kind of makes me mad. So this is like a little Rapala. It's like the same design, kind of. It's not jointed. Oh, it's stuck in my thumb. It's not jointed, but it's small and it has all these little hooks on it. Same design, fairly. The only difference really is that it's smaller and not jointed. So I presume it's for smaller fish. Like maybe a small pond or like a creek for smaller bass.
Species. Yeah, smaller bass,
Maybe crappie, I don't know, but
I caught a bluegill on Maps 5, so.
So here's what I really don't like about it. A little fish, when it tries to bite this thing, I can't imagine a little fish taking all these hooks. There's no need, no need. And second, when you're fishing for small fish, you're fishing in water that has more weeds, it might be more shallow, so this is just going to get caught on everything. Every cast will get something on this, and that's why I don't like that.
And if you really think, just real quick, think about it. If you compare the size of the hook, it's kind of hard to see, but the size of the hook, if you compare like both of the hooks together, it's pretty much half of the entire bait. It doesn't make much sense.
It's pretty excessive.
So the next lure I'm going to talk about is the Maps 5. Now, before I even get into talking about what's wrong with this lure, I love this lure. I've caught so many pike on this, and I don't want to offend anyone with it if anyone's like, you can't hate on Maps pike. It's supposed to have treble hooks. It's part of the design. I completely understand that. Now, one of the problems Maps has with this Maps is it catches literally every week. If you have to fish, you can't fish in an area with just super dense weeds. Every cast you're gonna get caught. The amount of time the lure itself is actually in the water and not snagged on a weed is just, it's a very short period, and there's no really alternative to the treble hooks on this. I'm fine with treble hooks, but one thing you can do is you can clip down the barbs, and if you're an experienced fisherman, all you have to do is keep pressure on the fish, and you're not going to lose it. And the barb is just there to, secure it, but there's no need. So if you just hold your whatever kind of pliers you have and just go right on the edge and just clip it down, and then
pressure.
It'll make it so when you have the fish out of the water and you're trying to get the hook out of its mouth, it'll take way less time and you won't do damage to the fish.
Right, I agree. And another thing that I was kind of thinking about is, when you compare Rapala and Maps catch a lot of weeds. That's just, you gotta know that that's gonna happen. But the one interesting thing is, with MEPS, the hooks surround the bait, you know,
Mhm.
because there are hooks everywhere. With this, at least they're on the bottom and they're not on the top, and so it's still gonna catch. Don't get me wrong, this is gonna catch all the weeds
I
you need.
catch almost more weeds with
Oh, for
power,
sure. But I'm just
Mhm.
saying, this, for the amount of hooks it has, catches an abnormally large amount of weeds.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
And
hooks are all over the place.
one alternative to a map's like, if let's say you're fishing in a spot with a ton of super deep weeds and super dense weeds, you can just use a small spinner like this with one hook or two hooks. Like there's one hook here and then there's one hook below it.
And that second hook catches fish.
Yes, the second hook is all. I actually catch more fish with the second hook itself, and it's good because then it's really easy to remove the hook out of the fish. And I've caught just as many pike and bass on just normal spinners than MEPS. So I guess it really depends on where you're fishing and how many weeds there are.
Mm-hmm.
So the last kind of lure we're going to talk about is for muskie. So this is
I
pretty
am
controversial.
not a fan of that lure, I gotta say. Here's actually a better, I don't know if you can see it, I just want to bring it up. This is a great musky lure. I love this musky lure. It's jointed, it doesn't have too many hooks.
It's the flat sticks, Storm flat stick, yeah.
With jointed. And this guy, can I see it real quick? This guy, I don't
It does. The problem with this one, this is a really old lure, and it doesn't actually have much action. This is kind of so the opposite, or the difference between this lure and with the joint. The action you get from just the flat is it kind of
Huge.
wobbles back and forth, and the
Yes.
crankbait it wobbles side to side. So I don't really care. That's not really the point of this, but. I mean, do you need this middle hook? And
Or the front hook, you know? It's one of these two. I
Well,
definitely see the back hook.
if you're gonna fish for trophy muskie, I completely understand. I understand why you want, but once again, if you clip the barbs down on this, you don't have to clip them down all of them. You can maybe just clip them down on the fronts, or maybe the ones in the middle, because I mean, first of all, I understand why you need them on there. If a muskie's gonna leap out of the water and just jump around and stuff, you're gonna want a bunch of hooks on there. So
Yeah. One thing though, when you cast this lure, your line just always get these hooks catch the line. You can't cast it. You can't. It's like 50% of the time your cast is worthless because it's coming in completely sideways.
But that's not necessarily this type of crankbait, because like this kind of crankbait where it's just flat doesn't. It's just this lure itself. I don't even know what kind this is. It's a really old lure I had a long time ago. So
Okay. So I think that's going to be the end of this episode of Fish Talk. Look for one next week, and we're probably going to have some more just fishing videos later on. It's winter in Wisconsin right now, so we're not going to do much fishing for a while. So goodbye and see you on the water.